Welcome back, mamas. In today's video, I'm going to be making some Greek gyros from scratch. Let's start with the meat. The recipe calls for 1 pound of ground lamb mixed with 1 pound of ground beef. And I prefer using ground pork, but you can use any ground meat or combination of ground meat that you would like. It's totally up to you. So first, we're going to grind the meat up more than what it already is because it needs to be super finely ground. So whatever food processor you have, and only do about 1 pound at a time depending on the size of your processor. I have to do mine 1 pound at a time. And the seasoning blend that we're going to be putting in there is onion powder, and the recipe calls for a medium onion, and 4 to 5 garlic cloves. So to speed this up for me, I don't always have fresh onion on hand and I don't always have fresh garlic on hand. So when I don't, then I use garlic powder or onion powder. Then we're gonna have 2 teaspoons of salt, 1 teaspoon of oregano, 1 teaspoon of cumin, and a 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper. Now I have all of that in here. And so I'll be adding half of that seasoning mixture with 1 pound of meat, and then I'll pull that meat out and then do the same with the 2nd pound of meat with the last of the seasoning blend. And then they'll all go in together, mixed together by hand into a bowl. Also, I forgot to mention, I already got the oven preheating to 325 degrees Fahrenheit. See that texture there. You want it nice and smooth. And the rest of the spices. Okay, now I've got 9x9 already greased, and then we're going to put the meat in and press it down. So it should look something like this. Press down and smooth it as best you can. No, sweetie. And then we're gonna put that in the oven for about 45 minutes to an hour. No touch. Okay.
The kids were being a little noisy, so I had to switch to not using the audio in the video. Here, I am making the pita bread. That was 2 teaspoons of sugar. Now I'm putting in 4 teaspoons of yeast, active dry yeast. Now I'm putting in 4 tablespoons of olive oil. This is a combination of 320 milliliters of milk at room temperature and 160 milliliters of water. Now I am just mixing all of that together with a whisk, and then we will let it sit for a few minutes. While we're waiting for our yeast to activate, I am getting my flour mixture together. This is approximately 5 cups of flour, 2 teaspoons of sea salt, and then I just use the whisk to blend that in together. Our yeast is nice and bubbly, so now it's time to add our flour mixture in and start mixing it with the dough hook. Here I have an olive oil greased bowl that will let the dough proof in. Now we're going to proof this in a warm place. I picked the top of my fridge for at least an hour or 2, however long it takes to double in size. Now to make the tzatziki sauce. Peel 1 English cucumber and then shred. Next, we're going to sprinkle with some sea salt. This will extract some of the excess moisture out of the cucumbers. Then set it aside. In the meantime, combine 1½ cups of Greek yogurt, plain, 1/2 cup of sour cream, 1 to 2 garlic cloves minced. I just use some garlic powder, salt and pepper to taste. Then add about 1 teaspoon of chopped dill. This can be fresh or dried. Then mix this thoroughly. Now we're going to drizzle a little bit of olive oil and mix. Now that the cucumber shreds have had a chance to release some of the excess liquid, squeeze it out thoroughly and then add to your yogurt and sour cream mixture. Mix in your shredded cucumber and it's ready to serve, or you can store it for up to 2 weeks in your refrigerator. I do recommend taste testing it, and if you need to adjust any salt or other seasonings, do so now. Now we're going to work on the pita bread. First, oil your pans and start getting them warm, and thoroughly oil your surface. Now remember, this is a double batch of the pita bread, so I'm going to cut it in half, set half of it aside so that I can work with a more manageable section. The remaining half I'm going to divide into 6 pieces and make balls out of them, and then one at a time we'll flatten. As you can see, I'm oiling my rolling pin here and making sure my hands are oiled as well. This will make rolling out the pita bread much easier and smoother. Now take your rolled out pita dough and place it in the skillet. Then roll out another one and place it in your other skillet if you have two that you can do at the same time. This will make it go much faster. And then as you wait for each one to brown, you can roll out the next one. Here is what it should look like when it's all done. Look at that stack of pita bread. They're soft and the flavor is amazing. Now we've chilled the meat for at least a couple of hours, and this is right before dinner. I'm going to take out the meat, slice it into thin slices, and then we will spread them out in one layer on the cookie sheet. These slices ended up turning out a little on the thick side, so a little bit thinner would be best. I usually line my cookie sheets with parchment paper. Then we will broil them for a few minutes until they are nice and brown. Now for your toppings, I like to have shredded lettuce. The traditional is actually sliced tomatoes and red onion. We usually will have onion and tomato, and I have an option of lettuce and sometimes black olives. Here I'm pulling out the meat from the broiler, and they should be a nice golden brown and sizzling, nice and warmed up, ready for dinner. Here we have the meat, nice and hot. And then this time I made it, we just had the shredded lettuce, sliced tomatoes, of course the wonderful pita bread, and that yummy tzatziki sauce. Gyros are a family favorite here. Everybody's got their own unique way of building their gyros, but I love Gyro night. It makes dinner time a wonderful family time. Everybody is happy. Well, unless you're not a huge fan of something Mom just put on your plate. I'm going to be making your Greek.
What are you doing?
I'm videotaping. Can you please go?
You can do it, Mommy.
Thank you.
You gotta put the outtakes on it.
Go.
It would be the same.
Okay, go play quietly. You clean up.